Hello and welcome to another Murders at Karlov Manor draft. We are still on our journey to rank 1. Yesterday did not go so well. Yesterday we went 3-3 with a nice Bant mid-range deck. That's what I get for trying to go outside of my comfort zone and try to draft something sweet. It is pretty difficult in this format to draft something sweet. So let's try to get back on rails and draft a nice 2-color deck. And also maybe read the signals. Well, pack 1 is not actually a signal, but what did we open? Let's take a look. Well, that's a blast from the past. Stromkirk, Captain, 3 mana, 2/2 first strike. Other vampires you control have +1/+1 in first strike. But I'm looking at Teysa. I'm going to slam Teysa. I haven't been able to play with her too much, but she is quite strong. I mean, 3 mana for a 2/3 Death Touch. Sign me up in this format, right? This is a format with a bunch of 3 mana 2/2s. Love to just have Teysa just for her body by herself. But the fact that you also get all this extra text, right? Whenever you deal damage, if your opponent takes any type of damage, you investigate, and then whenever you crack a clue, you get a 1/1 flyer. That includes cracking a clue on your opponent's turn. So you can crack a clue on your turn to make a 1/1, and then you can crack a clue on your opponent's turn to make a 1/1. So really happy about that. Person of interest, not on my watch, Leering Onlooker and Stromkirk Captain are all decent cards, but I'm going to take Teysa here and really hope that white and black are the colors to be to go with my Teysa. So one thing that's really nice with Teysa is, of course, evasive cards, right? Having an evasive creature in play guarantees that you'll be able to get that hit in to get the clue. So that's what I'm going to be keeping an eye out for to work with the Teysa. Moving on to this pack, Archdruid's Charm and Hedge Maze are decent cards. Obviously, this is nowhere near where we want to be. I'm looking at Perimeter Enforcer, Leering Onlooker, and Sanguine Savior. Now, I believe Perimeter Enforcer is a better card than Sanguine Savior. It costs 2 mana. There's plenty of detectives. But there's also Leering Onlooker. And between the two, I'm not sure which one is better. I think Perimeter Enforcer, just in general, has a much higher win rate. I haven't drafted Black-White that often, so I don't know how many detectives are in Black-White. But I just feel like the lifelink on this is so relevant because this format is so much about racing that I think anything with lifelink in this format is that much better. So we're going to take the Perimeter Enforcer. Also keep in mind, we did first pick a Teysa, but that does not necessarily mean that we want to be specifically white-black. If black is not available, then we'll be looking to pivot, and we could take the Perimeter Enforcer and maybe go white-red or white-blue. White anything. White is just the best color, I believe. So moving on here, I'm not a big fan of Forum Familiar. I think you're spending way too much mana to get minimum value off of the disguise effect. So I just, when you look at a card like Forum Familiar, you're like, ooh, that's a cool disguise effect. But you have to keep in mind that you spent 3 mana to play a 2/2. So if you really want to think about this, it's a 5 mana 2/2 bounce a thing. That's not something I'm interested in. Here, I'm going to be looking at Auspicious Arrival and Bite Down on Crime, and I'm just going to take Auspicious Arrival. This is a fantastic combat trick. Happy to have this in any white deck, and this prevents us from branching out into a second color. Now, if we continue to see green cards, then sure, I'll go ahead and take those green cards. But for now, happy enough just trying to take whatever white cards that I see. Moving on to this pack, I am not a big fan of Case of the Gorgon's Kiss. I think this card is just actively bad. Don't try to play this in your decks for the most part. There's Deadly Complication. This is a black-red card, so it's really hard to play with the cards that we've taken so far. Other cards to consider are Dramatic Accusation, Lost in the Maze, and maybe even Red Herring. Nothing that's white that's standing out to me. I want to try Lost in the Maze. I feel like if you're going to be a blue-white tempo deck, this is a pretty nice card to just kind of seal the deal. So I do want to try this card. So I'm going to take that. There's really nothing that's great out of this pack. It's a rare. Gotta try all the rares. Wow, and then we have this pack, which just has a bunch of premium commons. This pack has Shock, Galvanize, Makeshift Binding as great commons. And then you also have Tin Street Gossip, which is just a really good uncommon to play in your red-green decks. This is an easy Makeshift Binding for us. We would really like to be white. We have 3 white cards already. And it's also just, I believe, a better card than Shock and Galvanize. I mentioned how important life gain is just because racing is so important. So I do like Makeshift Binding here over Shock and Galvanize, but those are all premium cards. And I wonder if this is a sign that red is open, seeing a Shock and Galvanize this late. So we'll keep our eyes peeled on that. And now there's a Shock. There's a Shock in this pack, but I'm going to just keep doing what I've been doing, and that's take the white card. Karlov's Watchdog is pretty strong. You have this in play, all of a sudden you don't ever have to worry about your opponents flipping over creatures on your turn, which is huge. Because if your opponent keeps up 5 mana and has a face-down creature in play, you're like, oh, what can this be? I shouldn't attack. With Karlov Watchdog in play, you don't have to worry about that. So I'm going to take that. Clandestine Meddler is good. So is Shock. But this is one of those situations where I think it's close enough where I just want to keep taking the white cards and kind of try to read the draft as it goes. We did not see a lot of green cards, and I feel like Killer Among Us is still really underrated. Do I take Killer Among Us, or do I just stick with my colors and take On the Job? I'm going to stick with my colors and take On the Job. This is the only green card that we've seen so far, so I just would rather not take it and just take the On the Job, which is a card that I always want in any type of white strategy. We're not seeing a lot of black cards, though, but we are seeing red, and I want to keep myself open to potentially being red if possible. But yeah, black is being heavily cut. Here we have a pack with No More Lies, which is fine if you're blue-white, and then there's Vengeful Creeper if I wanted to go into green. Now, we haven't seen that many blue cards either, so I wonder if the correct color combination here is to be green-white. I'll take Vengeful Creeper over No More Lies. I'm not a big fan of counterspells in general, so we'll take the green card here just because it seems like green felt a little bit more open than blue. Here, I'll take a second copy of On the Job and just not have to worry about picking up any more copies of this, but this is always just a card that you're happy playing. And wow, look at this. What kind of pack is this? Projector Inspector, Case File Auditor, and Cold Case File Auditor and Cold Case Cracker all in the same pack. I think I'm going to take Projector Inspector here. I mean, blue's got to be open from there, right? I mean, I'm not entirely sure, but that is pretty wild to see a card like that late. I mean, that pack was just oh no. That's another Teysa. And that's a Private Eye. Okay. Decision time. Get that blue card out of here. I mean, these blue cards are not that good. Black doesn't seem that open. But we're talking about 2 Teysas here. Teysa feels like an absolute bomb to me. Private Eye is incredible in blue-white. Look, this is just... Everybody wants to see me play 2 Teysas. Let's be real. Long Goodbye, Assemble the Player, Private Eye, sure. Hopefully the Seasoned Consultant tables. But I'm taking Teysa. We're making an executive decision. We are playing mono-white, maybe white-black. We'll see. That's a Yaris. Can't play it. This card is phenomenal. Great rare to have. Here we have the choice between Perimeter Enforcer and Market Watch Phantom. There's a Clandestine Meddler as well. But I am locking myself in. I took the second copy of Teysa over to Private Detective. Hopefully we end up with enough playables. I'm taking Perimeter Enforcer though. White-black might not have that many detectives, but hey, look, they stack with each other and they have lifelink. But I do love me a Market Watch Phantom. Okay. So that's... The nice thing is we have 2 Evasive Flyers to go with the double Teysa. That's everything that we want. We would just want all Perimeter Enforcers and Market Watch creatures. Taking a look at this pack, that's a Lightning Helix, but we can't really take it here. There is a Fuss and Bother, which I think is pretty good. We do have 2 On the Jobs already, but I think the Griffnot Tracker is so replaceable, I don't really need to take it. And this is probably just better than On the Job, because you can also make 3 Thopters in the late game. So I'll try Fuss Bother here. But now we're really looking for white and black. How are we not seeing black cards both directions? Not cool. Not cool. I am going to play this Teysa, though. You better believe it. Here, I can take Repeat Offender or Dog Walker. I mean, if we're going to be mostly mono-white, and Repeat Offender is so mediocre, if we're going to be mostly mono-white, I can see playing Dog Walker as just a way to... play it face down, and then for 2 mana you can flip it over, and I might have enough white sources to be able to do so. Here we have the option between Night Drinker Moroi and Dogwalker. I think I would rather have the flyer here. This is a red-white card. We're still seeing a bunch of red cards, but this Moroi has done some serious damage. So I want to try taking this. And I actually like Extract the Confession, especially if you can find ways to collect evidence. I just feel like, sure, you can get punished by the cards that make tokens, but I think the fact that you can also evidence 6 and kill the biggest thing makes this a pretty playable card, in my opinion. Now we're going to be happy to take Seasoned Consultant as the 2-drop. And now we're seeing more blue and white cards here. Nothing for us. I guess we'll take the Projector Inspector in case we have to go back to blue and white. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I mean, we didn't take that many black cards. All right, I'm doing it. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I actually like Eliminate the Impossible as a trick. Oh my goodness. I don't know if that was correct. Look, the Private Eye, double Projector Inspector. We're not seeing a lot of black. All right, this is kind of a mess. This is kind of a mess. We'll see what happens. But if the Private Eye tables, it's got to be a sign. We don't have that many black cards. It's close enough. It's going to be one of those instances where I'm just going to keep taking the white cards, and then whatever we see at the end, that'll be our deck. All right? I'm taking Market Watch Phantom here. I'm going to take it over any of these blue cards because you never know, and be happy about it. I will say, just for my kind of OCD, I do not like looking at this because I just see a bunch of white, blue, and black cards in my deck. Oh, man. But here we are. Here we are. Wow, Torch the Witness is a great removal spell. Out Cold is fine, but I'm looking at the Steam Core Scholar. 3 mana, 2/2 Flying Vigilance. It loots as well, draws 2, discards 2. And then I can discard a flyer or a spell. I feel like this is what we want. And then maybe we'll table the Seasoned Consultant. There's also Sanguine Savior if I want it to be white-black. Here we have Seasoned Consultant versus the Cold Case Cracker. There's also Karlov Watchdog, but when in doubt, I like taking the cheaper thing. It's so important to just have base. Okay. We're doing it. Oh my gosh. Okay. Here. This is our deck. This is our deck. Do we need more 2s? 1, 2, 3, 4. I can always use more 2s. And I don't think I need another Fuss Bother because we have 2 Onda Jobs and a Fuss Bother. And this is one of those things, right, where the sweeter card are these 4-drops, but I'm just going to take the 2-mana Detective that wants me to have a bunch of creatures in play. That's what I'm going to do. We have 5 2-mana creatures now, and we have 10 creatures total. This is a pack with a bunch of premium uncommons. Detective Satchel is great in blue-red. Buried in the Garden is a fantastic removal spell. Escape Tunnel is all right, but I'm going to just take an Out Cold, and now, well, actually, I wonder if this is just an Escape Tunnel, because we have 2 Onda Jobs and a Lost in the Maze already. Yeah, I'm going to take Escape Tunnel, just to make my mana a little bit better. Here we have Furtive Courier versus Deduce. I think I just want creatures, so we'll take the Furtive Courier. And now we have a pack with a bunch of filler cards. Do we have morphs? We do have a bunch of 3s. We have 5 3s. I guess I'll take the Lamasu. It's not great, but it's a 5-mana 4/3 flyer. And now we'll take Dramatic Accusation as just a removal spell. Yeah, black was really, really cut. Oh, and that's an 8th pick Private Eye with an Assemble the Players, but okay. I'm glad we swapped. Oh, man. I mean, at this point, do we take... No, I feel like I take as many Projector Inspectors as I can over Cold Case Cracker, right? I don't know. Maybe it's close. Here, I'll take the Crime Stopper Sprite. We have lots of 3s. But I also just feel like it works better with what we have because it guarantees that we'll be able to continue triggering our private eyes and give things unblockable. So I think synergistically they work well together. It's just we're just kind of low on 4s, but that's not a big deal, really. So I'm glad with kind of how this deck turned out and how we were able to pivot into blue-white. It's one of those instances where, okay, it was so open. 8th pick private, or tabling the private eye, that we just kind of went down this direction. Oh, but double Teysa. Sorry, Goat. Don't try to get into my deck. Double Teysa, though. I have the escape tunnel, but we're just not going to do it. I'll put the dog walker in there for now. And then we need to cut, I believe. Here, we'll put the furtive courier in, and we'll just figure out our last cut. Here we go. Yeah, tell me what you think about... I feel like in general, Projector Inspector is better than Cold Case Cracker, but I do recognize the value that you get from a card like Cold Case Cracker. And I might be a couple playable short. It might have been correct to take out Cold, but I guess just in my eyes, I have Lost in the Maze and 2 On the Jobs, which serve similar functions. Out Cold might be slightly better than Lost in the Maze. And I also have Fuss and Bother. So there's just only so many of these types of cards that you can play in your deck. So I just went with the card that just made sure I got good mana in the escape tunnel. And as far as the last cards to cut, Dog Walker always goes here. I feel like there is... Generally, I don't like cards like this, but I'm going to try to skew my mana base to have more white sources. And also with 2 On the Jobs and Fuss Bother, having a card that can generate tokens is really valuable because you can just kind of get in a big attack. So I think I'm going to cut the Furtive Courier. I just don't have any ways to make clues, really. So we can discard that. Or get rid of that, rather. We have plenty of 3s, and then we can just cut one of these expensive cards. So the question is, do I want a Hotshot Investigators or an Absolving Lamassu? I think I'm going to just play the Detective, just to go with all the Detective synergies that we have, and just cut the Lamassu. And I do like the Karlov Watchdog just in general, so 15 creatures. This can almost be a creature. Yeah, this looks reasonable. Let's try this. Okay. Fine hand here. 2 islands, 2 planes, Seasoned Consultant, Crime Stopper Sprite, and Projector Inspector. Any hand with... Yeah, I'm happy enough with the Projector Inspector pick. I feel like any hand that I have with Projector Inspector, I'm just happy. It just feels good, right? You just get to always loot. So if we find a land off this, we will discard the land. All right. It's also not bad to discard the Hotshot Investigators here because we're looting every turn, so we might not need a bunch of lands, and then that allows us to cast the Crime Stopper Sprite with Collect Evidence, which is pretty good. Now this is interesting. Do I want to play Crime Stopper Sprite, or do I want to just play Market Watch Phantom and loot? Crime Stopper Sprite seems to have a lot of value as something that can tap something down. So I'm going to go with the Market Watch Phantom because this is also effectively a flyer, especially with Projector Inspector going. I guess we can just keep pitching lands here. And not interested in trading Projector Inspector for a Morph, so we'll just pass. And our opponent trying to do the same thing here, but we get to loot, and that's big. So here, I'm just going to play the Crime Stopper... Crime Stopper Sprite. And probably tap down... Oh, they're just... Oh, they're... Okay, sure. They're bouncing Projector Inspector. Okay. That's not bad. And then we can't attack with the Seasoned Consultant. So, sure. All right, let's just attack for 2 in the air. And then next turn, we can play Hotshot Investigators. We got the mana to do so. We got to loot a couple cards to the yard, and once we hit 6, any land we draw with the Inspector, we can just throw it away. If they can get the Consultant off the battlefield, it gets a little bit annoying. Right now, they can attack with double Consultant plus Specialist, and the Consultants would attack as 3/3s. This feels like it could be the Griffin that taps, because if you tap the Consultant, you get a really good attack in. Oh, it's not. Okay. So do I go Hotshot Invest? The thing is, there's nothing that I actually want to bounce. So let's just go ahead and play the Projector Inspector for now. See what we loot into. And it's a Fuss Bother. Fuss Bother seems pretty great. Just making 3 1/1s. The question is, do I want the second Projector Inspector? And I don't think I do. I don't think it's necessary. I do want to hit land drop number 6 here because I have Fuss Bother plus the Hotshot Investigators. And for us, we will just attack with the Flyer. We won't attack with the Flyer. I don't want to attack with that Flyer anyways. They're targeting the Phantom. Interesting. Well, I'm not interested in attacking with the Sprite into a Granite Witness, so we'll keep that back. They have a Karlov Watchdog, okay. 2 cards in hand. Wow, with 2 mana, okay. So, you know what this feels like to me? Oh, they also have the Karlov Watchdog, I see. That's rough. That's a big attack. All right, so at this point, I do think we do need to block. So what are the best blocks to get as many creatures off the battlefield as possible? So we can go here, and then just double block here. Yeah. We need to manage this board here. Yeah, okay, eliminate the impossible. Sure. All right. Well, that was a complete block. They had Karlov Watchdog plus eliminate the impossible. And so now, all of a sudden, our board is looking absolutely devastated. Absolutely devastated. Okay. How do we regroup? How do we regroup? This Watchdog is really strong. I can bounce something. I suppose I just bounced the Watchdog. It's the most expensive card. And the Hotshot Investigators... Actually, no, that's not even good. They can just replay it, and then they attack. These are 4/4s that attack? Goodness. Yep. Yeah, I'm trying my best to keep as few creatures on the battlefield as possible. Now we're down to 4. And we have Steam Core Scholar and Projector Inspector. The problem is they're just attacking for so much. If I make 3 flyers, because of the Watchdog, everything just gets so much more difficult. I think I just need to find something here with the Scholar. Maybe a removal spell. Oh no, we should have kept double blue up because of Lost in the Maze. All right, and we'll play Projector Inspector. And we'll discard On the Job. And we will pass. The Steam Core Scholar has to just chump block the Granite Witness. A really, really bad spot to be in. All right, we get to finally kill the Watchdog, but at the cost of basically throwing all of our creatures away. I have no idea what's happening here with combat. It's lagging pretty bad. All right, face down card. We have no board. Is that good enough here? Maybe? We'll put two creatures. We'll put 2 blocks on the Granite Witness, and then 1 on the face down card, I guess, because it could be something that's bigger. That is a Bubble Smuggler. Okay. Well, they didn't need to face it up there, but sure. Right. Private Eye. Makeshift Binding. Ooh, are we gonna... Oh, we're at 1? Oh, man. I wanted to be able to hexproof my own creature, but I'm at 1, and so I have to tap both their creatures down. That's unfortunate. Yeah. Yeah, I have to do this for 2. These are not winning lines, by the way. I just want to let you know. All right, 20-1. We're facing a 6-5 and a 1-3. Our opponent's deck looks very nice. Thought ours was okay too, but our opponent just got us pretty good. So, starting off with an 0-1 start. 0-1 start. I really... Oh no, we've deranked. We've deranked. I really thought we had a really nice start there, but the Watchdog, the combination of just the Watchdog just got us so good. Just the fact that it acts as an anthem. So I'm gonna value that card higher than previously, just because it doesn't need to attack to give you that bonus. All right, I'll keep this, although it does need some lands. But 2 mana, turn 2 Perimeter Enforcer. We have a Makeshift Binding if we draw planes. Ideally, we draw an island, but if not, we still have a removal spell, and then we can go Watchdog. Repeat Offender, okay. Oh, perfect. Yes, all right. So we drew the island, so we have the Crime Stopper Sprite. That turns the Perimeter Enforcer into 2/2. So we're playing against a Rakdos deck, and racing just becomes very difficult with this Perimeter Enforcer in play. Next turn, we can jam the Karlov Watchdog. Although I guess it wouldn't trigger. I might need to restart Arena. I don't know what's happening there. Yep, but they have a nice little aggressive deck here too. Karlov Watchdog is not a detective, so we do not need to play it. What is happening? I'll make sure to restart after this game. So yeah, we're at 21. They're at 15. I mean, they went Repeat Offender into Snarling Gorehound and Vengeful Tracker, so they have a very aggressive start as well. It's just we were on the play, right? We were on the play, and we have the Enforcer in play. They played a Slimy Dual Leech, so yeah, this turn, they're going to get us for 6 here. But the thing is, I just don't even need to block, right? They attack me, and it's fine, and the next turn I attack with everything, and what did they do? Right? It's like, okay, I attack you with everything. Would you like to block? So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, plus 6 is 15. So we just cast On the Job and we win. Yep, that's this format in a nutshell, folks. Our opponent played a bunch of creatures. We played a playable Inspired Charge, and back to rank 1, or not rank 1. In my heart, that's our rank 1. I don't know if we're actually going to hit rank 1. We're going to try. But we drew really, really well there, right? Because we kept a 2 planes hand, and we drew island into planes to be able to play all of our cards. Happy with that. Would like to draw that Private Eye turn 3. I just want like the classic good detective start. This is an interesting one. I mean, I have a 2-drop and a Makeshift Binding, so I think I keep. But it's got a bunch of spells. Would love to draw some creatures here. Just going to crack this now for an island. And we do have Seasoned Consult turn 2, Makeshift Binding turn 3. Our opponent is on Rakdos, but this time we're on the draw. So we'll see how things go. They did play Innocent Bystander. We do have the Consultant, which does a good job of blocking the Bystander. Of course, if they have a removal spell, that changes things. They put Offender at Large in the graveyard. I wonder if that means they need lands. Because this is a fine thing to play next turn. Or they just have more big things, but I guess they just have enough things to do. And Snarling Gorehound getting them a lot of value here. Connecting the dots, putting it on the bottom, okay. So we are the defensive player here. I might throw away On the Job here. I feel like I just want to keep hitting land drops. So yeah, I'm just going to throw that away. Next turn we get to double loot. I mean, I could have pitched the island. Maybe that was correct. There's just not going to be a scenario where, at least maybe 4 turns from now, where I'm going to be able to say go and keep up On the Job. This is an interesting attack. This looks like the +3/+0 first strike card. But this seems too tempting not to block like this. I suppose I can double block here. Yeah, what if I double block here? I mean, they can play Toxin Analysis, but that still loses their Gorehound. If they give this +3/+0 in first strike, I still kill it. So yeah, let's double block. There could be something else I don't know about, but this seems good to me. Oh, it's a Felonious Rage, sure. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, there's a bunch of different combat tricks, but they spent their turn to cast the Felonious Rage, so I don't really feel bad about that at all. Nothing that I really want to makeshift binding here. I'm going to keep this Consultant back still for the Innocent Bystander and just run out the Projector Inspector. Let's loot, and now I'll pitch the island, I suppose. It could also have been the Hotshot Investigator. It could have easily been that. Slimy. Oh, did we get paired against the same person? What's happening here? I'm going to take the damage and use Makeshift Binding on the Dual Leech. And yeah, we can't really afford to take too much more damage. Hold on. Do I even want to trade here as well? Probably the face down. I think I just do this. I don't really need to loot anytime soon, because I have a 6-drop in my hand and an X spell. So if I would be looting, I would be looting away good cards or lands that I need. Okay, so Person of Interest is pretty nice. They can't attack us yet, though. And now we're kind of in a bit of an awkward spot. Karlov Watchdog certainly a lot better if you're on offense than defense. Lost in the Maze not particularly good here. I guess it's the Watchdog, but I'm not happy about it. And by the way, this is the reason why we chose not to take the Out Cold, just because we had so many like redundant effects like that. All right. We're kind of in a do what we can to stay alive and get to the late game if possible. We'll play Perimeter Enforcer. Then we'll just pass. All right, they're going to suspect the Repeat Offender, and now it's their mana sink, right? It can get in for a good amount. So I have to make the decision. Excuse me. I have to make the decision as to whether or not I want to bounce this or the token. Ooh, are they going to sack a creature? They're probably sacking the Bystander, right? So they're going to use that and target my Perimeter Enforcer. I think I'm going to use the Lost in the Maze to save it. Yeah. All right. I believe this works. So it doesn't get stunned, and yet it stays alive. These two have menace, so we're still going to take 4. I mean, it's not like an insane play. It's just a play that I have to save my creature. I think the lifelink is going to be very, very important here. And now, that is just the absolute worst possible thing. I'm going to wait till I can cast Bother here. And yeah, we're just going to pass. This is going to be a defensive on the job here. They can turn this into a 4/3. Runebrand Juggler. Okay, they're going to suspect something else. A lot of suspects. Juggler is quite nice. So I can only block and kill one thing. If I wanted to do that, which one would it be? The Undercity Eliminator is a 3/3. The Repeat Offender is a 2/1, but it's also a 3-power creature that can also just get bigger. So I think it's the Repeat Offender. Oh, and if they try to kill the Consultant, that's really great for us. Okay, they didn't. All right, well, I'm going to just cast On the Job anyways here, just to gain extra life. Sadly, they sequenced it correctly. All right. Struck card here with the clue. But I think we're dead. Yeah. There's just too many menace creatures. Yeah. We tap something down, block this, and then we die. All right. Off to a rough start. 1 and 2. I don't think this deck is bad, though. This one, I feel like it's okay. So reverse sweep 1 time. Or a 1/3 epic fail. Okay. Let's play the tunnel. Let's go ahead and get, I guess the planes. Because we have the On the Job in hand. I know we have the double blue spell as well. But this is a nice hand. Turn 2 Market Watch Phantom. Turn 3 Steam Core Scholar. Oh, is this a Shock? Oof. That's why Shock is great. Shock might be better than Galvanize in this format, to be honest. Do I want the Flyer in play or the Projector Inspector? Let's just run out the Flyer. And then let's discard a spell or a creature with flying. Let's discard On the Job. That turns on our Crime Stopper Sprite. And now that's a Gravestone Strider. Okay. Then now we can just play Private Eye. Get in for 3 in the air. And then we can get Projector Inspector going. Ooh. The Quake Mole on the splash. Interesting. Think I'm gonna freeze that one. Let's freeze that one. Attack with this. Don't want to throw away our Private Eye. And then next turn we can bounce it with... Oh, man. They can crack the Runebrand Juggler to kill... That's takes their whole turn, though. But they can spend 5 mana to sack the Runebrand Juggler to kill my Private Eye. Alright, you got me. I mean, I think they were going to sack this anyways, but... Okay. So yeah, let's go ahead and bounce the Quake Mole. Attack. What does this say? When it gets blocked? Okay. Are they going to just run the Quake Mole out again? Nope. They're like, hold on, timeout. Timeout. Yes, I would love to loot. No. All right. I'm going to trade this for the Basilica Stalker. Okay. And I will keep my lands in my hand because I have the Projector Inspector in play. All right, Quake Mole online. Runebrand Juggler online. They gave this Menace. Ooh! That's interesting. What do I target? I think it's the Stalker. And this can't even block? Yeah, let's get the Stalker out of the way so we can attack with our flyers. We're at 16. I don't think I care that much about the Quake Mole. Famous last words. Yeah, Quake Mole just blocking. Our opponent is at 2. Maybe? I've never seen that before. I mean, they're dealing with 2 lethal flyers. Any detective we draw here will be good. This feels like a wrath. Nope. Just a concession. Okay. We're beginning the reverse climb. 2 and 2. 5 more to go. 5 more to go. I will keep this hand. Turn 2, Market Watch Phantom. Turn 3, Crime Stopper Sprite. Decent. I almost feel like I want an extra creature in my deck. Might have too many of these types of effects. I might want to shave one on the job for maybe just the Lamassu. I think I might just do that. We have a good number of ways to... It's like a good backup plan to just win with some flyers. And we just have 2 on the jobs plus fuss. And that might be overdoing it. They could have Felonious Rage. They could have +2/+. Let's just block. I mean, they could play a Morph this turn too, which would also be bad. It's probably the Auspicious Arrival. Nope, Felonious Rage I'm okay with. And they don't get to play a Morph this turn. So that ended up being completely fine. Although, could use a little more action here. We have 3 additional... What do we keep? I guess we kept the land heavy hand. It was 4 lands, Market Watch Phantom, Crime Stopper Sprite, and On the Job. Something like that. And then we drew back-to-back lands. All right. This is kind of risky, but I'm going to go for it here, just because we have nothing else to do. I'm going to block and cast On the Job. But I think I want to do it on this creature, because this could be the 3/2 that unmorphs. Right? And turns into a 2/2. So we'll just get the guaranteed 2/2 there. Get the clue. Hey, that worked. That worked for us. And the thing is, even if they killed our creature, we get a clue out of the deal. Are we going to try again? Are we going to try again? Yeah, sure. Block the Griffnot Tracker and cast Eliminate the Impossible. Three mana. Oh no. Okay, hold on. Let me crack this clue here. I might be able to draw the Lost in the whatever. Oh, okay. Well, we can cast that next turn. All right. Well, we're going to just cast Eliminate Them Possible to take 4 less damage here and make a clue. And then we'll make 3 Thopters and Surveil 2 next turn. No! I believe that's what I want to do. Yeah. Interesting. Both of those seem fine cards to keep. Do I want the Inspector? Well, if I'm... No, I think I'll just make sure I draw the Watchdog. Although, well, no, because then I can't use the... I can't combat trick. Wow, they discarded a Detective? Okay. What is this morph? Let's see. I kind of want to kill the tracker. I just have no idea what this morph is. And then if I loot, what do I discard? Is it a May? Maybe I just don't loot. I kind of want to keep my life total healthy. All right, this is not blocking. Yep, let's just play this and not loot. Because I like both cards. Now people are going to get super mad because I didn't loot. All right, flip it up. What are you? Is it the 6/7? I mean, I guess they have something to play every turn. So that's a thing. All right, get in the skies. I mean, they can still flip it up on their turn. But we do have a combat trick now. I suppose I can block with the Projector Inspector with Auspicious Arrival up. If they play land number 6 though, I won't. I'm just blocking now. Goodness, what do you have? Here. Oh, okay. That's pretty good. We'll save the dog. And they have Wrench. Okay. Not the biggest fan of Wrench. I'm happy trading this face down card for my Watchdog. I don't think my opponent is, though. Drew the Dog Walker. We can face it up. Next turn, we can get in for a pretty big attack. We're at 13. This is a Defenestrated Phantom. That's okay. All right, I think I'm interested in making... Yeah, this is going to be great. I mean, we're going to attack for so much now. Ooh, Projector Inspector. I think I want to draw a card first before looting. Ooh, dramatic. I think I'd rather just shrink that. Or remove that, rather. Yeah, this Doggo doing some work. What does the Wrench do? The Wrench taps things. Okay. All right. Dramatic Accusation here. Now we are looking golden. Our opponent's at 6. We have 5 creatures in play. If they kill the Watchdog, that's still 6 power worth of attackers. I guess if they kill the watchdog and play something, that makes it more tricky. But we have a clue in play too. Ooh, they cast Make Your Move. I don't usually main deck this card. It's a disenchant or kills a big thing. They got their tracker back. And then they can equip the wrench to it, and then they die. If they play a second creature, then they'll kill the watchdog. Okay. Okay, sure. All right. They can eat this and go down to 1. I'll play the Inspector because I can find something here. I'd rather play the Consultant than use the mana to draw a card. But if I find something better, I'll just do it. All right. Yeah, let's attack with everything. Okay. So here they're at 3. Do I want to play... Let's see. If they play the inside, the 3 mana 1/1 that makes a 2/2, then I would really have liked an extra creature. So yeah, let's just play this. No reason to just decline. I guess we have collect evidence, but we have enough things in our graveyard to collect evidence anyways. So just lowering the chances to deck ourselves, but they should be dead here. This doesn't really look like a deck that would want to play a sweeper anyways. All right. The comeback trail. The comeback trail. Can we hit Mythic? 3 more in a row for Mythic. Started out 1 and 2. We're now 3 and 2. Oh wait. I did want to make a change. That game was looking really bad. We had to do so many unconventional, like defensive on the job. Like what even is that? Benthic Criminologist, we don't have any artifacts, so it's not something that's great here. Teysa on the splash is not something I want to do. So yeah, let's just play Absolving Lammasu and cut 1 on the job. That way we still have 1 on the job, 1 Fuss Bother, and 1 blue X tap your stuff. And I think in any given deck, 3 is about the maximum number of those types of effects that you want. And we're pretty aggressive, but we're not super aggressive, so I don't ever want to draw multiple copies of those cards in general. But the nice part about a card like Fuss Bother, at least, is that you can use it to make the Thopters, right? And that's what makes it, in a lot of instances, better than the Inspire Charge effect, for example. On the play, 2, 3, 4, including a turn 2 Perimeter Enforcer. Sign me up. Actually, we're not on the play, just kidding. I don't know why I thought I was on the play. I guess I wanted to be on the play. That desire to want to be on the play just tricked myself into thinking I was on the play. Can we draw a Private Detective just once? The old Snarling Gorehound Deduce deck. Oh, see? This is what I get for just opening my mouth. They have now played one of the best rares in the set, Encrypted Coat. Looks like, according to 17 lands, the 6th best rare and the 2nd best monocolored rare behind Aurelia's Vindicator. Aurelia's Vindicator is something that I want to open, but I have yet to do so. Hopefully we can race them properly with this Perimeter Enforcer. If they kill the Enforcer, then we're in trouble. If only we were on the play, like I thought. Cold Case Cracker. Oh, I can't even attack. I wonder what they're going to do. Oh, interesting. Hey, that's a Lost in the Maze. I think that card can be really good for us, but I don't think it's the time to play it just yet. Let's go ahead and play the Watchdog, pass, and then we can, with the Watchdog in play, we can attack for 4, 8, 10 next turn with a Lost in the Maze. That seems pretty good. I really hope they have something like a Murder, but waits until my turn to try to do it. Haven't played against blue-black too much. It feels like they want to kill this watchdog. Well, that's not cool. That's super not cool. But I'm really happy that the Cold Case Cracker attacked. Let's play the Market Watch Phantom and then just rely on our flyers. Definitely loot. Ooh. Okay. We'll play this one as well. We'll get the double loot. An extra trigger on the Enforcer. Let's loot again. Ooh, Private Eye. So, is Auspicious Eye going to be better for us? Oh, excuse me. Auspicious Arrival or Lost in the Maze? It feels like Lost in the Maze is going to be better from this point. So, let's go ahead and attack for 3 in the air. Our board's looking very nice. I mean, they also have a fantastic blue-black deck. They have the blue-black land. They have Cryptic Coat, Coerce to Kill. At some point, I'm going to want to fire off this Lost in the Maze. Just when? When? Oh, okay. I can make something unblockable. All right. What do we want to do? Whenever you draw your second card. So I can make one thing unblockable. So they're both 3/3s. I probably want to make the 4/3 unblockable, to be honest. Yeah, because this is going to be a 4/4 when I play this. And this trading for a Cold Case Cracker is just fine, I think. We're just looting. Just looting. Attack, attack. Is this unblockable? Which one's unblockable? Can't be blocked. That one. Okay. So Cold Case Cracker will certainly get in front of this. They're going to take 8, go to 7. And we have a ginormous attack. Now, even if they kill Private Eye, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I mean, we might still have it, depending on how big we can go with this Lost in the Maze. Right. So they have 2 clues. We have this Private Eye. They weren't able to kill it last turn. Oh no, we just played it this turn. Never mind. We're at 23. They're at 7, and we have Lost in the Maze. We want to tap down the face down creatures and probably the Death Touch Karlov Watchdog. And then the Snarling Gorehound is probably going to need to chump. The thing is, if they just go with Cryptic Coat Bounce, like spending 5 mana to make a face down card just doesn't seem good enough. So I kind of want them to do that. I think for them to come back, it starts with them finding a way to get this Private Eye off the battlefield. So if they can kill the Private Eye, that would be great. I just want them to spend all their mana too, to be honest. Crack a clue. Crack both clues. If we draw land would even be good too, right? If we draw land, we can Lost in the Maze for 4. Oh wait, no, sorry. This is not like okay, my bad. This is not like Out Cold. It does not have the can't be countered clause. So that is something to be mindful of. What we can do though is tap down 3 things. What happens if we tap down Basilica Stalker, Karlov Watchdog, and Snarling Gorehound? Then they have 2 blockers. These are our 2 biggest creatures, and they die. I like them dying. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Attack. All right, Lost in the Maze, doing some work. Just enough. Just enough. But they had a sweet deck, though. Cryptic Coat, awesome. But also, it's okay in control, but again, you want to be kind of aggressive. You want to be putting the pressure on your opponent. Having a just a 3 mana, 3/2 ward 2 unblockable creature is mostly why you're playing that card. Like, that is just a very good rate. It's a very hard to kill creature. If you're playing a blue-white deck or whatever, or blue anything deck, it's just good. And then, of course, when you absolutely run out of things to do, you can then replay it. Especially if they kill your face-down card, right? Then you can pay 5 mana to put a 3/2 unblockable Ward 2 creature, which is still fine, right? It's one of those things, you don't just naturally want to bounce it when it's still attached to something, but if your opponent does find the need to kill it, then you're like, okay, 5 mana, 3/2 unblockable, go. In the late game, totally fine. All right. Can we get the most incredible comeback here? 1 and 2? I think we're 4 and 2 now? Maybe 3 and 2. This might be 3 and 2. We haven't won this much with this deck, have we? Okay. And this time I thought I was on the draw. What? Okay, all right. I need to get more sleep. All right, green, white. No 2-drop. Let's go ahead and attack with Seasoned Consultant. Nice here, Projector, Inspector, and another Seasoned Consultant in hand with Fuss Bother. Fuss should be quite good here. I think we can set up a pretty good one. Or we can discard it with the Projector, Inspector, and then play Crime Stopper Sprite with Evidence. Okay. Yeah, let's see. How does this work? It's an additional cost to cast. So I can't cast the Crime Stopper Sprite and then put Evidence on the stack and then loot away the Hotshot Investigators. I don't believe that's how that works. So let's go ahead and play the Seasoned Consultant, because I want to play the Crime Stopper Sprite next turn. The Hotshot Investigators was actually a nice draw, because now I can just discard that. And we'll just relax for this turn. And next turn we can play the Crime Stopper Sprite or just attack with everything and set up a nice Fuss Bother, depending on what they choose to do. All right, so they're going to take the slower approach, which I think is completely fine. But I want to get more value now out of my Fuss, right? So let's go ahead and play Crime Stopper Sprite, exile Hotshot Investigators. I don't know why I played the land. Yeah, I don't know. I should not have played the land. And I should have triggered that stacked that differently. Anyways, let's go ahead and tap the 2-power creature. Always loot. Oh. And I just don't know. They only attack with those 2 creatures. Do I want to keep... It's like, I can get in for 1 point of damage, but this just feels like a combat trick. So I'm just going to go ahead and just play Perimeter Enforcer and lean on my flyers and not run into a combat trick. And next turn we can Fuss Bother and have it give +5/+5. That seems great. And they have to just keep adding to the board here, so... And the big thing here is making sure that putting a +1/+1 counter on Crime Stopper Sprite and Perimeter Enforcer seems great. All right, so this just reeks of combat trick, but we also have combat trick, so here we go. Seasoned Consultant getting in for 3. They're going to turn into 4/4s here. What can they have? +3/+3, +2/+2. I guess we target the inside source first for that reason. And Fuss seems better than Bother. We can cast both. Fuss does seem better, though. If they have +3/+3, we still kill one of the creatures, which is good. Yep, they had +2/+2. We kind of anticipated that. And we still have a very formidable team, right? We have a 3/3 flyer, a 2/2 flyer, and 2 4/4s, and they're at 6. And another thing about getting them low is just it gives us so many good top decks, and we used our Fuss Bother, but we still have Investigate the Job and the Lost in the Maze. So now those also just become incredible draws because we've gotten them this low. The worst thing that they can play here is probably just a large... The worst thing they can do is play Aurelia's Vindicator. What? It has lifelink? What on earth is... I have never played with or against this card. It's the best rare in the set by a large margin. 69.2% games in hand win rate. 4% higher than the next best card. This is not a reasonable Magic card. Sometimes you lose to the best rare in the set. Sometimes that happens. We were looking great. We were looking just great. And they vindicated us. Has that happened to any of you? Have you just been vindicated? Oh my gosh. Lifelink? Why does it need lifelink? It kills X creatures. Oh, brutal. Absolutely brutal. Okay. What if we draw on the job? Can we draw on the job for the win? They go to 10. On the job? The stun spell? No! Wait, isn't this lethal? Hold on. Is this not lethal? Is this not 10 damage? What? We were not supposed to win that game. What? Why would you do that? Oh my gosh. All right. The epic comeback continues. The epic comeback continues. We just beat Vindicator. Our opponent threw the game away. Oh my gosh. All right. That's a card I need to open at least once on our journey to rank 1. Oh my goodness. All right. All right. Oh, rank 39. I think this might be for Mythic. I was so excited about that last match. This could be a match for Mythic. We're on the draw. I'm going to mulligan. I think I'm going to mulligan this. If I don't draw Island, I just lose. Okay, we'll keep this. I'm going to bottom Lost in the Maze just because on the draw, it's not really the type of card you want in your opener. It's more important to just play cards that do something, like that enter the battlefield. But we are on the cusp here. We are on the cusp. Oh, okay. Well, yep. You know how once the format gets quote unquote solved or people figure out what to do, everybody in Mythic just has the same deck. This is just everybody's. It's just they're all just going to be red white, red herring decks or whatever. Ugh, this is gross. I'm gonna play this only because it has Ward 2. Because they're stuck on 2 lands. So I don't want to get shocked out of the game. I mean, I'm still going to trade with the red herrings here. Their deck is awesome. Double Novice Inspector. Like, I still have to block here. Just to stay alive, but I just wanted to give myself at least 1 turn. Let's discard an island. We just need to stave off the early beats, but if they can kill this Inspector in any way or have a combat trick, it's just... Our backs are against the wall. We didn't have a 2-drop. Silly us. Person of interest, okay? So we're going to go with Projector Inspector. Of course we loot. This card, I think I want to discard the Watchdog. Next turn I kind of want to freeze something and keep up Auspicious Arrival. But we'll see. I'll play the Consultant as well. Take action. Oh, Private Eye. All right, well now we're just discarding Auspicious Arrival. And doing everything we can to stay afloat. We went 3-drop, 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 2-drop, and we're at 10 life. Okay. So that's a land. The thing is, we can just never attack. I guess I'll loot. Discard planes, and then, I mean, I'll give you unblockable, but I'm not attacking from this spot. And then we're going to collect evidence and tap down the Granite thing. The Granite Witness. Let's loot. Sure. All right, let's take a look at this board state. Can we get in for 4? We can basically block everything. I mean, if they kill this, then no. But it's one of those instances where I feel like I do need to get something going. But they still have 2 cards in hand and a clue. Ugh, this is horrible. No, I guess we just... I really don't... Okay. They Lightning Helixed our Dome? Oh my god, it's Lightning Helix ×2! Oh my god! It was for Mythic! Oh, we're 2 rungs away. So close. So close. But we played against a high Mythic player, and we made a great comeback, right? We started out 1-2. We ended up being profitable, going 5-3. Probably should have been 4-3. Probably should have lost to the Vindicator deck, but this was the deck. It was okay. It was decent. We had double Enforcer, double Private Eye. We had a bunch of the uncommons. I liked the Inspector. Lost in the Maze did some work, for sure. So did Fuss and Bother. So overall, I thought this deck was fine. Always could have used more 2-drops. That would have definitely helped. You literally just cannot afford to miss playing a 2-mana creature in this format, especially as you go up the ranks. All the good players are just going to have a bunch. So you just have to take them so highly. So whenever there's a close pick, I mean, the big takeaway here, when you start doing your drafts as well, or I know you've done a bunch of drafts, maybe you've done more drafts than me, is when it's a close pick, It's not even take the cheaper card. Take the card that costs 2. That's the big one. Everybody's going to have 3s. Make sure you have enough things to do on 2. And if you can't, make sure you have enough cheap interaction to deal with their 2-drop. Because if you're ever on the draw and you don't have the shock or whatever, or your 2-drop creature, and your opponent just goes Novice Inspector, 2-drop, 3-drop, it's basically over. It's over in a lot of instances. The combat tricks are just too good in this format. There's too many ways to press the advantage in this format. So just be mindful of that. That is the way to succeed in this format. My mind, not my body. My mind kind of has had to make that shift in this format, because if you want to have an interactive game, you do so by putting permanents onto the battlefield, not by trying to draft the control deck or trying to ramp and trying to do cool things. I just found that generally doesn't lead to success unless you can draft a control deck that has 3 or 4 shocks, right? 3 counter spells to deal with whatever early things, early aggression that your opponent has. I also thought this deck was really interesting to draft. I think this was the classic example of don't get married to your first pick, or in this instance, both first picks, right? First pick, first pack Teysa. It's an absolute bomb. It's phenomenal. I tried my best to draft a Teysa deck, right? Anytime I had the choice between a good card that was not white or black, anytime I had the choice between, for example, a good red card, I opted for the white card, which might have been a little bit weaker, just to give myself the potential to play this card, right? I wanted to keep myself open, and it was very clear during the draft that black wasn't open. And then in pack 2, we opened another Teysa. And I go, okay, well, I mean, everybody wants to see a double Teysa deck in action. I was like, okay, I'll do it. There was a private eye. It wasn't that clear how open blue was, but I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take the Teysa and try to be mono white, maybe splash the Teysa. And then the private eye tabled, and we saw no black the other direction either. And so we had to make the pivot. And it ended up paying off because blue did end up being pretty open. Obviously, blue-white's open when private eye tables, which is a shock, by the way, because blue-white detectives is one of the best archetypes, and tabling it just means, okay, you're going to get any of the private eyes that's open in the draft at that point, right? And it ended up paying off, and we ended up getting 5 wins out of this, which it was looking like a bit of a disaster, like maybe a lot of my drafts. I don't know. But we managed to salvage it and get a respectable 5-3 record. And now we are sitting at Diamond 1 with 3 bars. So we have two more little pips to go before we hit Mythic. I might be Mythic by the next video. We'll see, depending on whether or not I stream and I get there. But this is nice. We're well on our way to try to fight for a high spot in Mythic. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Feel free to hit the like or subscribe button for more videos just like this. I'll catch you tomorrow.